We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
What's up? What's up?
Greetings.
There's a lot of sighing going on this morning. What's happening?
Nah, B, you spread it.
Hmm?
You spreaded it. You're spreading it.
We're tired? We're tired?
You're spreading it, man.
What up? What up? Welcome to the No Part podcast.
Mm.
I say I'm back. I'm back being responsible with my role.
Hello, everybody.
And filled with the joy of the Lord.
And say your intro. I like it.
I forgot what
You know what it is.
What? This is the No in Part show? I don't know, bro. Son, every week is a blur to me.
Welcome to the No Part.
Oh. Welcome to the No in Part show.
Oh, man.
He has a great voice. Yeah. He has a great voice.
Don't get him
Mike will
started.
disagree because he does.
Don't encourage him.
He's going to start singing, man. And
Word?
And then
Oh.
No, I'm saying that because then Marcus is going to fall back and he's going to say something slick and then fight.
You guys. Anything crazy in the news that's been...
Yo, let's not worry about the news, D. Jesus Christ is coming back,
Yo,
man.
I don't even watch the news, bro.
That's the news.
Jesus
Christ is coming back.
man.
I don't watch
This is
TV.
the news. The papers.
And the news don't matter.
This is what I'm talking about. The
News
papers. Y'all
don't
don't read the
matter, B.
papers anymore?
Yeah, this is the only paper we should be reading.
News.
But it don't have a sports section, so sometimes it's a little crazy.
It does.
It does have a sports section.
In here?
Yo, dog, you just
Jacob was a runner.
What?
not even. You just heard about WW. You just heard about WrestleMania.
Nah,
dog.
wrestling is fake. I've never watched wrestling.
Yeah, listen, we got wrestling.
Yo,
Yeah,
hold on. For
track.
all you adult men that watch wrestling, that's sad.
We
bro.
got track.
Yeah. We got discus
Wait,
throwing with David.
track. Oh,
Throwing the rock at Goliath.
Spend an hour in the ring with the Rock and say that.
say what?
You wouldn't last 5 minutes.
But it's still fake though.
Yeah, but you wouldn't last 5 minutes.
It's acting.
You're right.
It is. And
But you wouldn't last 5 minutes.
But that's not the point. I'm not.
so
putting
they're not
myself
athletes.
in it.
Wrestlers are not athletes.
I said it's fake. I ain't say nothing about them being an athlete.
Wait, time out. So you and him could fight, but we can't fight.
No, I ain't say nothing about them not being in shape or not being athletes. All I said was it was fake. At least a football game, you it's not fake.
You don't think football's fake?
Nah.
Listen,
Sports,
wrestlers,
baseball, basketball,
body-
football, that's not fake.
their body takes a beating.
Don't say nothing to
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it's the outcome is fake.
I mean, yeah. Okay.
It's like a video game.
I agree. It's scripted, yeah.
I don't
yeah,
play
you're
video
right.
games.
It's a soap opera.
So Ange says wrestling is no good. So
It's not a sin. So if you want to watch wrestling, go ahead. If your wife is good with you watching wrestling,
I was never into wrestling.
You know,
so
go ahead.
I'm with you, Ange. I was never into it.
yeah. I mean, after
Nah,
Hulk Hogan, when I
I'm
was
into
5
wrestling.
or
I'm
8,
into
whatever,
wrestling.
I was done.
I'm not into wrestling no more though, but
You
Yeah.
lying.
So
So
what
what
are
you
you
lying, bro?
What are you into, Mike?
during the attitude.
Yeah, tell us,
era,
Mike. What do you do
what
for
are you
for
into?
fun, Mike?
fantasy football. There's fantasy football out right now.
That's demonic.
Fantasy, baby.
Fantasy
That's
ain't
demonic.
Yo, let me check my lineup.
Fantasy is fake.
Check my lineup. Make sure my lineup.
Make sure your lineup is good.
Yo,
let me check my
fantasy-
Yo,
lineup.
fantasy football is a straight
But
up
fantasy's
idol.
fake.
Yo, they don't understand. Fantasy football is an idol.
It's a fantasy. Yeah, the name.
You know
the
what
name.
I'm saying? The same way, what's her name? Rachel stole those little idols. That's Mike on his phone with the fantasy football.
You know why he said all that. You know why he said all of that, right? Because you see how he starts laughing. That's the nervous laugh.
What nervous laugh? Yo, Filthy don't get nervous, baby. Filthy's a G.
So why don't you show him your fantasy football videos?
What fantasy football? Yo, the Lord removed those idols from my life. And I've been praying for y'all for years. And I've been,
You've been praying in fast
I've
for
been
this
praying
guy.
for these guys. I've been telling them how bad it is. Yo,
Sure,
fantasy football had me up at 3:30 in the morning on the waiver wire. Like, come on, like looking for like free agents. Come on,
You're
bro.
obsessive compulsive.
No, I'm not.
Tell him again.
I gotta win.
This the same guy with no. This the same guy with no TV. TV's wrong too, Ralph. Take the TV out. Tell the people how TV's an idol.
You can't tell the shorties ain't no TV up in here.
Yo, ain't no Netflixing and chill.
They gotta find out when they get here.
Yeah,
when
they
it's,
find, yo, it's
when
the
it's too
Bible
late.
and chill. That's it.
when it's too late. What's the TV, man? That's on the TV.
TV's an idol.
No Lifetime shows.
Listen.
Be quiet, woman.
No HG no home network, no food network, none of that.
Yo.
We don't watch no TV in my house, woman.
We got 66 books to get through.
You don't need 66 channels.
We got a book in the kitchen. Woman, go.
Yo,
Man.
chill, bro. Don't
Listen, you gonna get a wife? Yo, this guy's gonna have TVs in all the rooms. Watch.
Yo, you know what's crazy?
Remember I said that.
My grandfather back in the day, he literally had a TV in every room, including the bathroom. You would go sit down, you close the door, there was a little TV in the upper corner where you could watch TV. Yo, it was crazy.
But that's the TV. That was the TV era. Now you got your phone, B. People take their phone in the bathroom.
TV? You got a phone and a laptop. Don't get me wrong, I still watch some things.
But how about if your future wife on the TV?
I mean, it depends.
You saw the hezzy?
Yo, it depends on what's the reason. Like, why we want to watch TV?
Son, she want to watch Jeopardy.
Yo, but they don't have an app? Listen, the reason why I would say that is for the children.
Yo, but you saw the hezzy? He said,
if the Lord Lord gave me some kids, I gotta watch. Be careful what they watching.
Oh man,
you know what
I'm saying?
So
they monitor it, but my man said,
no future TV. Wife can't get a TV.
Don't even say that to the people. Man.
No home, no cooking network, no HD TV. Yo, there's no HD TV.
I'm a chef. I don't need a cooking.
What about HD TV?
I'm nasty on the stove.
She can't watch.
She can't watch.
She can watch whatever she want, bro. That's up to her.
Yo, that's crazy.
But she want to watch it on the TV.
As long as there ain't no TV in the bedroom.
I agree. No TV in the bedroom.
I need it to be dark. I need to sleep. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no TV in the bedroom. But
no, that's fine. I'm not saying it has to be in the bedroom.
Yeah, they could have a TV.
Yo, man. Let's
why you laughing?
What chapter we on, baby? What chapter we on, man? Let's get out of here. Yo, let's start to pull back, baby, because fam.
No, you gotta. Your future wife is gonna change your heart.
What? Yo,
and you gonna get 5 TVs.
Mommy Angelo's gonna come for you guys.
He's gonna get a smart TV.
Yeah, Miss Esther coming through.
Miss Esther's gonna come through
after this.
Shout out to Mama Esther.
Mommy Esther.
Yeah, 34 is crazy, son.
Where we at?
34.
We're at 34. So what we went through last week?
We went through 33.
That was the wrestling.
Nah, Jacob and Esau. Jacob meets Esau finally.
Yeah.
And just his humility, you know. We seen how him and his family bowing down, coming to Esau. You know, Esau embracing him. How he, for 20 years he had it on his conscience that his brother wanted to kill him. Not knowing that his brother just, missed him, wanted to see him dearly. And, he was afraid. He didn't know how that would go. But when he finally saw his brother ran, met him, kissed him, fell on him, and they wept. And, we seen the family, paying the same respect to Esau. And just Jacob being a changed man. After that wrestling match with God, his hip is broken. He's a broken man. He's humble, and he's just, he said he's seen the face of God and lived and he was able to see God face to face. And he says, yet my life has been delivered. Yep. But we're just seeing a changed man, and we're seeing, him and his brother back together. And it ended off, I don't know how I should say it ended off, because I think his brother wanted to be with him, and he was like, I'm going to go one way, and he went the other way.
He went to Shechem, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's supposed to go back to his father's land.
He was supposed to go back to Bethel.
No, I don't think he was supposed to go back to Bethel.
Yeah, that was the promise he made.
Really? Where?
Yeah.
Where was it?
To God. The ladder situation.
The ladder situation, he said he's going to come back to Bethel?
Yeah, Bethel is in the land.
Bethel was in his father's land?
Yeah.
That was in his father's land?
It's the land of Canaan, the land of promise.
Yeah, because I don't know if he was supposed to go back to Bethel. The thing is, when he talks to his wives, he just says that God wanted me to go back to my father's land. It never says Bethel.
Yeah, that's what the Lord tells him, right? So go back to
go
the
back
land
to my
of your
father.
family.
Yeah, go back to the land of your family.
Yeah.
But it doesn't say Bethel exactly.
Right, but
in 35 it tells him where specifically.
But Bethel is in the land. Bethel is in the promised land.
What chapter is that? 31?
35.
But here it is.
No, I think 35. He goes back to when we go through it. That's why I think something different. When we go through it, I'll bring it out. But I think something different.
All right.
Because I went back and I read it. Because I remember, we kept saying you're going back to Bethel, but so I just wanted to see. Because while I was reading further, it was just like something didn't make sense to me. But we'll bring it out. Let's just move forward. But yeah, that's basically what happened with him and his brother Esau, and just he goes to the city of Shechem. Yeah. I guess, yeah, the city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan. So the direction he was going back was back to the father's land.
Yes.
But he just
stopped.
lands in the city of Canaan. I mean, city of Shechem, right?
Right, and
He-
right,
he-
which is
he-
30 miles away from where he was supposed to be.
Oh, all right, okay.
It's about 30 miles away.
And there's something about the city of Shechem where it's in close proximity to.
I think it's Hebron. I think that's the place he's supposed to go. I think Hebron was where he's supposed to go.
But where he ended up was really close to a pagan community.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And we got to get into it.
Yeah, that's
but-
what I'm saying. Yeah, that's why I'm like, as we get into it, you'll start to see certain things.
So let's go into 34. Let's read verse 1.
Verse 1. Now, Dinah, the daughter of Leah, whom she had borne to Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land.
Let's stop right there. So we're talking about Dinah, however it may be pronounced. That's the last. She was the second to last, right? Because after her was Joseph. Correct me if I'm wrong. Who's the youngest? Joseph is the youngest.
Joseph and Benjamin.
I think Benjamin.
Well,
Yeah,
Benjamin's
Benjamin
the
born
youngest.
yet.
Benjamin's
not even born yet.
Benjamin's not born.
So yeah,
So she was.
I guess at this time she probably was the youngest. You would say.
She was the youngest. Before her was Joseph. I believe this is occurring maybe 10 years after this whole Esau thing, right? Him meeting Esau.
Why do we think that? I'm just curious.
You kind of got to go ahead, because when we go ahead, which happens shortly after this, Joseph is in his teens, right? So let's say 17, 18.
Okay.
So
So how old do we think she is here?
15, 16, because she's a little younger than Joseph. Maybe a year, 2 years. Who knows? We're just estimating she's in her early.
Nobody really knows for sure.
Early to mid-teens, young woman. It makes it clear that she's one of the kids of Leah, which is the wife that was unloved. All right.
Okay.
But Jacob was her father. And what'd she do?
She went to find some friends.
City girl.
She wants to find out what's going on.
Yeah, baby.
She's a city girl, baby.
What these streets
What's
about?
Gotta see the streets. Yo, babe.
Feel the pulse of the people.
Listen, man.
Feel the
streets,
pulse of the people.
You always gotta touch the streets.
Streets is
Wherever you
talking.
go, you gotta touch the streets.
Streets are always talking,
It's
baby.
not even about that. You just gotta, like you said, you gotta
What?
touch the people,
Listen,
B.
what these streets about?
Word up.
Yeah.
You always
Right?
gotta touch
So,
the streets.
went out to see the daughters of the land, right? The daughters of the land is referring to who?
The women of the city of Shechem, I guess.
Yeah,
In particular,
the Canaanites.
We're talking about
The
Canaanites
Canaanite,
women.
right.
What do we know about the Canaanite people?
Come on, man.
The Canaanite people were extremely wicked.
Extremely wicked.
Yeah, so there's archaeological evidence showing how the Canaanites used to murder. It was heavy into murder. It was heavy into sacrificing children. Because we get a lot of the things as we read later on. We learn about Chemosh and Molech, all these false gods, and they were heavy into that with children sacrifice. Also into like with the Baal worship, that was heavy into like that whole worshiping the earth, the trees, the sun, the moon, all these other things.
Extremely wicked. So if somebody call you a Canaanite, it's not a compliment. All right. They were very wicked people.
Oh, in fact, in one of the archaeological evidence they used to, that I read, it said that, for example, when people used to come into the neighborhood, they would give them like, oh, here's gold, here's silver, here's thing, and they'll give the strangers gold and silver for them to go shop or buy food, but nobody would sell to them. And then they'll watch them for months as they starved in the area, and when they died, they would take all the, they'll take all the gold and silver back. So it was like an enjoyment for them. And there was like, if they were short people, they used to torture them and actually stretch them out and make them longer. And if they were tall, they used to chop off their legs to make them short. They was just use these deranged, torturing things just for fun.
It was demonic.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's read from 2 to 4.
And when Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her and lay with her and violated her. His soul was strongly attracted to Dinah, and the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the young woman and spoke kindly to the young woman. So Shechem spoke to his father Hamor, saying, "Get me this young woman as a wife."
Yep. What y'all seeing?
So, well, it says he seized her, lay with her, and humiliated her. That was, what would y'all consider that? Just reading this. It was forcefully, like it was by force. It was against her will. Do you think it was against her will?
Yeah, he raped her. I think he raped her.
Okay.
Date rape.
All right.
Not even date rape.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. We're seeing the fruits of the culture, right? And it echoes back to Genesis 6. Right, when the sons of God saw the daughters of men. You're getting that same, it's echoing back where he saw her and in his lust and his desire, he violently took her and raped her.
Right.
Right. And as we got to read through it, it's a kidnapping also.
Yeah, because she's in the crib with them.
Yeah, like you're staying right. You're staying right here. You're not going anywhere. So we're dealing with rape. We're dealing with forceful rape. We're dealing with abduction, kidnapping.
So it probably continued to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah. So he's saying. So now, go ahead.
Nah, because it says he was fond of her. Like.
So what do you? Yeah. What do you? I was about to go there. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think it was like, how he went about it, it was totally off, but it came to like an obsession, I think. Like it was like a sick obsession. I don't think it was something that was healthy. I think because the way it started was totally off, but I think it was something like, he was fond of her. Like, probably that was his favorite out of all the women he probably was doing that to or whatever. That was just somebody he took closely to. Like she became one of his favorite girls.
Do you think this is evidence of, when people speak on soul ties? Like, you guys have heard of that before? No, like, it's basically like a teaching when people are sexually intimate, that there's a spiritual connection between them. And because it says that his soul, later on it says, the soul of my son longs for her. And I don't know, because it's something that I've heard teachings on where people say, like, when you're having sex before marriage and like you have those spiritual ties to the people that you are intimate with. So I didn't know if this was scripture that sort of backs that, but if you guys never heard of it.
Yeah, I never heard.
No, but but in terms of like the whole aspect, like once you are intimate with someone sexually, there is that connection that happens where, unless you're just a total
depraved
psychopath and you're like, where you just see a total inanimate object and, so there's always a connection. That's why it's so difficult. That's why they say, not to have sex before marriage. Because once you get that connection, then, the whole relationship is based around that. And when there are issues, you can't date, people don't, away, people don't just break up that easily. Because of that connection, that sexual
intimacy. You see people
intimacy.
in like the toxic relationships, and you're like, why are you with this person?
Right, exactly.
And they think that they love them because of the sex part that keeps them connected. So it's a spiritual thing. So
when you have sex with somebody, you're giving up part of yourself. They're giving up part of themselves, and there's however it happens on the spiritual side, there is a connection because sex was for a specific purpose. Right? Obviously we're reading about this culture. He saw her and he probably attracted to her because she was beautiful, and he just wanted to please his flesh. And he abducted her. But I'm seeing it as he got to know her, talked to her, probably continuing to force himself on her, he started developing these feelings.
Yeah, I think it.
But this love is a worldly love, right? That's how we see it in the world. Two people meet, they have sex, and then these feelings, these feelings develop based off the foundation of lust. And I think that's what's happening with this guy, because this woman that he met, right? Obviously, at first, you didn't care anything about her. You didn't love her. You didn't care about her will, her needs. You was only concerned about, fulfilling your lust. Right. And you was ready to, and you took it with force. Right? You probably would have killed her if she acted up. Mm-hmm. That's the type of dude that we're seeing with this guy. But eventually he fell in love with her, and I was about to say something else, but it just escaped me.
That's what I told you. Go ahead, bro.
No, I was just going to ask you guys, do you think that he might have laid with her multiple times?
Yeah.
Or do you think...
Yeah, bro. And that's what I think.
Because she was abducted.
She was in the crib.
She was
with him.
Yeah, he kidnapped her.
And that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's like repetitive, and it's sick, because that's why I asked, how do y'all feel it happened? So if it's off of rape and she's abducted, dog, it's not healthy. So whatever infatuation, where it says he loved her, he spoke tenderly to her, dog, it wasn't real. In his mind, he probably thinking like, okay, I'm fond of her and I'm going to like her. But on the outside, anybody on the outside could see, dog, you sick. That ain't real. You know what I mean? You raped her and you're raping her. This is against her will, but.
So the things because she's young, she's naive. You're saying, and she's being manipulated and being raped. So she's probably.
I don't know. I think he physically and forcefully raped her.
Okay,
but then he's like, "Yo,
right,
come, I'm taking you."
Right.
Okay, so that's what I'm asking. So now, okay, he forced himself on her.
Yeah.
But now he's saying, he's speaking tenderly to her. He's attracted to her
because now
he's continuing to have sex with her. So now is it still continuing to be forceful?
So now he's developing feelings for her.
Right.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying.
Right.
So I'll say initially, but to her, it's still rape to her.
Yes. No. Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
To him, he's like, oh man, you're different. Yeah. You're not like these other women, because that's what I do to them.
Yeah.
But so now he's seeing, you're different. You was raised differently, even though you was out in these streets where you shouldn't have been out in these streets.
Right.
But
she was fast. She was fast.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm gonna throw something else in there. The way you started was like, yo, she the streets.
Yeah.
She was in the streets.
How do you know what it says? Violated, and violated. Does that equate to rape, or does that just mean having sex with someone when you're not married to her? You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I asked before.
It could. You know what I mean? And I'm just saying.
No. You know why?
Because it don't make sense for somebody. How many rapists fall in love with the person that they rape?
What?
A lot.
All the time.
No. I'm. This is like a love. This is love. This isn't like.
But
see, I'm a
cheat. No. I'm a cheat. As we get into the story, it'll give more details about what happened.
No, and plus one of the reasons that I also want to say, because it says that he violated her. Yeah. It didn't say he violently. So it wasn't.
That's what I'm saying. Right. It says violated.
He violated.
That just means he had sex with a woman who wasn't his wife. So that's the only reason why
the only reason I asked, because the way I'm seeing it, like, I know we always hear the story, rape, he raped her, but me reading it again, I'm like, I just want to see where it's at, like, see what y'all think. If it was something like, okay, you forcefully took her, and it says he humiliated her.
Yeah.
So however that is, that's why I said you have to look at the word. It says he humiliated her. It says he seized her. Like, these are the words that's being used. You seize somebody, that's against their will.
It's violent.
Yeah, that's against their will. That's not somebody who's doing it willfully. So whether it was violently, whether it was, he spoke to her and he kind of like insinuated, like, listen, shorty, you ain't going nowhere. You staying right here. And she probably scared. Like, look at this big, strong man. He got all these men around me. I can't move. Either way, dog, it's rape. You know, because in her mind, it's against her will.
Right.
So that's why I'm like, let's clarify according to what we're reading.
Yeah.
It might have not been something like violent, crazy, but she didn't feel like she had a choice.
Right.
I mean,
not at all.
And that's the same thing. That's the same thing. I mean, in concordance with what you guys are saying, is that just throwing the word rape on there, to not be fixated on that word, because in the culture that we're living now, when a man goes into a club or whatever and he kicks it to a shorty, right, and she tipsy, she couple of drinks in her, bring her back to the crib, and he smashes. I think it's the same situation because you're not married to this woman. You didn't court this woman. You know, it's the same situation.
Yeah, like
you see what I'm saying? Wait,
yeah.
Yeah, because you know you're manipulating her. You're throwing game at her, and she's falling. And you're like, "Yo, I've never met a woman like you before.
I think
you're
that,
the nicest woman."
I'm gonna show you something. I think
you get what I'm saying, though?
Because I'm gonna tell you something. I think that came after. If you read the way it's thing, it says he seized her, he laid with her, he humiliated her, and then maybe
let's define rape.
I mean, do it against someone's will.
Against someone's will.
Right.
All right. Reading this section of the story, do you believe what he did was against her will?
Definitely.
I mean, if I had to put my money on it, I would say yes. But what I'm saying, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say the way you started this was she was a shorty, she was in the streets where she wasn't supposed to be.
Listen, that's not no.
But what I'm saying is, if that's the case, if she enjoyed that type of environment, then maybe she was a little quick.
No, that doesn't mean nothing, dog.
No,
if it's
it doesn't matter. Listen, I understand what you're saying.
All I'm saying is, I'm trying to just think through. Because it doesn't say.
Yeah, right.
Way.
No, I'm setting up a situation where she was in a place that she shouldn't. She shouldn't have been. That's it.
Right. Okay, she was exactly. Right. But why was she there?
Regardless.
I mean, there is no. You can't say regardless because was she there because she enjoyed that type of lifestyle?
The reason that I'm not connecting the two is because it says he saw her, and then he violated her. Whether she was there for whatever reason,
I do think that it was most likely rape. But what I'm just saying is, it doesn't specifically say it was against her will. That word violated and embarrassed means embarrassed before her family because she wasn't married. You know what I mean? And violated, she wasn't married. Right. So all I'm saying is there is a potential for that she was okay with it and it wasn't rape. I'm not saying it was right, but all I'm saying is you just don't 100% know that.
It says seize. What do you think seize means?
Yours says seize.
The reason is the words, if you go to the different translation, and the words that's being used is violent and aggressive.
Okay, like I said.
That's the reason I put it in the rape category.
All I'm saying is I probably would put my money on it if I had to, but what I'm reading here, you can also throw in the other angle.
I don't know.
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah. Well, okay. The thing is what I see that what Andrew's saying is like, in God's eyes, whether you rape the woman or you slept with her out of wedlock, it's a sin to him. It's a sin to the Lord. It's morally reprehensible. So I think that's the things that we're dressing it up, embellishing whether it's rape, whether she agreed with it, whether it's not. But the whole thing is that to God's eyes, he's like she was humiliated, she was violated because it's not according to my covenant.
And I agree. God is not mentioned in this chapter at all.
Gotcha.
So now we know the level that we're on. Facts. We know what we're dealing with. We're looking at a situation of this family, right? We're still following this family that God is raising up in order that the Savior of the world could come through. Right. So we're following the seed. Right. And we finished the story where the spiritual leader was supposed to go someplace, and he didn't go there.
Yeah.
He ended up someplace that he wasn't supposed to be, right? And then now what we're seeing is when you're not in the will of God, how that can affect your family.
Right.
Yeah.
So we understand that.
Right.
So now I'm agreeing, right? I started it off with she was in the streets. That's it. She was probably, fascinated by what was out there. And with her being where she wasn't supposed to be, we're introduced into this other character, Shechem, that's of a depraved mind, right? And the way I read it and the words that's being used, I think that he violated her aggressively, right? And he also kidnapped her, and now he's spending time with her, and then now he's falling in love with her. Worldly love.
Yeah, it's sick.
This is all worldly.
It's sick.
Right? So now, now he's gentle to her.
Right.
Now he's, talking sweet. Oh man, I like you now. But you gotta understand, in his mind, he didn't do anything wrong. That's the culture.
Right. He's sick, B.
Right.
That's the culture. That's the Canaanite culture. That's just what they do. Like, you do. What are you talking about? Because when we go through he doesn't apologize for it. The family doesn't apologize for it.
Right.
Right. So
Dog, I see it like a dude. Like I see it two ways. It could be, dog, you raped her. You violently took her, you humiliated her, and then it gets into this sick infatuation type. Now you're going to your dad like, yo, I really like this girl, boom, boom, because it like I said, the foundation was never healthy. Yeah. This is against her will. This is not mutual. This is not healthy. Mm-hmm. And you either one of those sick dudes, or you probably a manipulator. Because it says he spoke tenderly to her. So now I look at it like even going into like some pimp mode. Like really, now you into this old pimp mode with her because you like, I really like you. I really want to be with you. I really want you. Like, I really want you closer to me than everybody else. And now you go into some manipulation, some old pimp mode.
I think he fell in love with her.
Yeah, what I see here is I think it's a genuine love.
I think, like I said, I think in his mind, this is... He ain't doing this because he don't like her. He really feeling her.
Yeah,
but I'm trying to describe it in a sense where people who are listening could be like, it's not healthy. Right. In society, it looks normal. But when you really look at it through the lens of God, it ain't healthy, bro.
Of course. Yeah.
It's madness.
So let's go. Let's go from 5 to 12, maybe.
And
5 to 12.
And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah, his daughter. Now his sons were with his livestock in the field, so Jacob held his peace until they came. Then Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out to Jacob to speak with him. And the sons of Jacob came in from the field when they heard it. And the men were grieved and very angry, because he had done a disgraceful thing in Israel by lying with Jacob's daughter, a thing which ought not to be done. But Hamor spoke with them, saying, the soul of my son Shechem longs for your daughter. Please give her to him as a wife, and make marriages with us. Give your daughters to us, and take our daughters to yourselves. So you shall dwell with us, and the land shall be with you. Dwell and trade in it, and acquire possessions for yourselves in it. Then Shechem said to her father and her brothers, let me find favor in your eyes, and whatever you say to me, I will give it. Ask me ever so much dowry and gift, and I will give according to what you say to me. Mm-hmm. But give me the young woman as a wife.
So Shechem, right, falling in love, he goes to his pops. And he's like, yo, yeah, I want her to be my wife now. All right? Mm-hmm. Kind of goes to the pops. I'm getting the picture of this guy. He's him and his pops are on the same
wavelength.
Mm-hmm. They're in agreement. So he's able to go to his pops, and they're able to come together in unity for this goal of, dealing with this other family so that this Dinah could be his wife. Mm-hmm. You guys agree?
Yeah.
So now what happens? Anybody?
Say that again.
What do you guys see in that section we just read?
I mean, you pretty much broke it down. Like, he comes to him, and I don't. So now, what is the dad's motive? Like, I look at it. The dad's motive is probably like, okay, now my son is coming up to me. He just wants the girl, but you being a dad, of course, he has a bigger picture. It's like, okay, these people got stuff. I'm thinking, Jacob. You've been seeing Jacob's family. You see Jacob got a lot of sheep, a lot of goats, a lot of stuff. So now it comes to a point where it's like, it's now it's like, I should say more like a family political move. Like, okay, he has stuff. We could gain some of his stuff. Like why should it just be, with the family? Okay, my son wants the girl, but as a dad, you're more looking at it like a Laban terms. Like it's a bigger picture for the dad. So now to the dad is like, I could get so much more stuff from Jacob. So it's like you said, the dad is on the same wavelength of just getting stuff.
And the crazy thing is that it says, give your daughters to us and take our daughters to yourselves. I see also like the way they're treating women. Like, the dad has this big picture of this, making this political combination here, joint venture, capital, or whatever. But also, you're seeing the way women are being treated in this culture. Like, it's just, give me some of your possession. I'll give you our possessions, and then we're gonna just take it from there. You know what I'm saying? So you're seeing how women were devalued.
I see him. I see also. I mean, that could definitely be the point, but I also see him just trying to look out for his son a little bit. The way he
how his son came to him.
He was like, how he came to
like
his dad.
He seemed like a little brat.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course.
Entitled.
So,
Of course.
Entitled. Yo, I see something. I want it. And then he goes to his dad. Yo, get me this woman. Make it happen.
Sounds like Samson, right?
And I mean, the way that he came to Jacob was like he put it on. He said, "My son's soul longs for your daughter." He didn't say, "Yo, my son raped your daughter." You know, he has a wife now. You know what I mean? So part of me thinks that he's trying to make it where there is no retaliation from them as well. So I mean, I see what you guys are saying, and that could be it. But as a father trying now to, my son dumbed out. You know, let me see.
No, but that's the thing. He's not him and his son.
Right.
Even though his son seems like he's this privileged, bratty,
which he is.
Kid,
it seems like,
he's like, all right, I see that you love this woman now. We're on the same wavelength. Let's go do this.
You're right.
Yeah.
As opposed to what we read right after, because the first thing is read is what Jacob heard.
Yeah.
And what did Jacob do?
He held his peace.
He didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no reaction
From Jacob, yeah.
from no emotional reaction from Jacob, which is weird and it stands out.
Yeah,
so do you think Jacob held his peace because, all right, I'm old, I'm crippled, because it says he held his peace until his sons came back. So now you're thinking, all right, maybe there was something there, but it's like, dog, I'm old and I can't do nothing. So it's more like, wait till my sons come back.
Nah,
You're the spiritual leader.
Yeah, he's the boss.
So then, but
He should have said something.
I think
this
part
your
of it-
daughter.
Yeah. I think part of it because he stopped where he's already because
he feel bad.
Nah, in terms of like, half obedience is total rebellion, complete rebellion. Because he was supposed to go all the way back home, right? Now he stopped. The same thing what we see with Abraham and Isaac. They go where they're not supposed to go. Now he's in a place. He's in amongst the Canaanites, and he's surrounded by this culture. And I think it's a form of being desensitized. So it's like he knows he's angered, but he is at a point of he's desensitized where I'm not reacting because I've already been around this culture, the raping, the violence,
and that's what
the idolatry.
So that's what I'm thinking. So, you're thinking, I'm like, okay, you've already compromised.
Yeah, right.
You
but does he know that?
No,
I
I'm
think
not.
Jacob's thinking about that.
No,
I don't know.
No.
Why wouldn't you say that?
Whenever someone is in a compromised state, they never think about that. Like, for example, if a person's like, born again Christian, they're looking at pictures or whatever of like women in bikinis, and they just, it's not a big deal. And then slowly it goes from bikinis to totally nude, and like they don't even realize they're in the state until they're like, oh man, when they start if they're married, treating their wives incorrectly. They start mistreating, friends, neighbors, and that's all a result from watching porn. They never picked up on it.
So that's what I'm saying.
Because it always starts in little steps.
So you don't think that it was something like, okay, I compromised. I brought my family close to this city. So now your daughter
goes
goes
there
out,
for 10 years.
No, just listen. My daughter goes out there. He already know his daughter is in the city.
Right.
Right? I'm figuring this. Your daughter's gone. She's unsupervised.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Your daughter's unsupervised. You know she's in the city. You like you said, you know how the people around there get down. Now this happened. You're like, in your mind as a dad, you like your dog. It's the same thing like with Lot. You know, like, I compromised. I brought my family here. Now look in the situation that I'm at. So this thing happens to my daughter. No. And it's like, because it says he held his peace until his sons came. So my thing is like, in your mind, you at fault. Like, you brought your family here. That's the reason this happened to your daughter. So now you feeling guilty.
Okay, possibly.
You know what I'm saying?
But it says,
that's what I'm saying. He didn't react, probably go crazy. But I think there's guilt there.
I think he cared more about what these other people
Jacob
were going to think.
heard that he had defiled Dinah, his daughter. Period. That's it.
And didn't do nothing.
It didn't say he was this or he was that.
It says, but his sons were with his livestock in the field. So Jacob held his peace until they came.
What does that mean?
And then what?
So that means probably now when the sons came, now it's like, okay, now
where does it say that?
No.
It says it. It just
meaning
says
I'm gonna wait till they come in to have this discussion.
Right.
But what I'm trying to tell you is that the scripture doesn't give us an insight to any emotional movement on Jacob's. Listen,
It just says it.
I'm not saying that Jacob wasn't. This didn't affect him, but the scripture doesn't say that. It's showing you the position that he was in. You understand what I'm saying? It's showing you spiritually as the leader of the house. Fam, you were supposed to do something about this.
I don't know.
There was no.
Because it says
Yes,
You shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Now that this happens, you were supposed to do something. But you know what? He was passive in the whole situation.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not
your daughter was raped.
They were supposed to be outraged.
There should have been.
And the thing is, it says he held his peace until his sons came. So you're telling me
right,
when
so
his sons came, there wasn't.
It doesn't.
So
say
let's,
anything.
it doesn't say it.
But what it does tell us later on is that he was tight. That they.
But where did
and
okay?
something.
Let's read on. Because where did the outrage come from? And what type of outrage we got?
Yep, it came from the brothers. I mean, from the sons, right?
Yeah, it
those were
turned
the
into
ones that-
madness.
Those were the ones
Yeah.
that
Dog.
were angry.
We're seeing a passive Jacob. Jacob was
I'm
passive.
not
in this
saying
whole
he's not
situation.
passive. Well, I'm just saying you're saying there was no emotion when the scriptures clearly said
No, I'm
he
telling
held
you-
his peace until his sons came.
But that's not emotion.
Okay, no problem.
Holding your peace is being passive.
Okay, no
Like you,
I
dog,
mean,
you
what,
didn't do
what
nothing.
dad in their right mind is going to be like, hear that news and then say, you know what? Wait, let me wait for my sons to get home before I react. No, there should have been crazy outrage when you found out that your daughter was raped.
Okay.
So now they come in, right? They,
What do you want me to say?
they come
Is
in.
that not true?
No.
What father would have been like, all right,
right.
you know what? Let me wait for my son to get home and then we're going to talk about
Yeah.
this.
No,
Right,
it's
right.
showing.
The only reason I think he did that is because I think he was in a state of, one, you was in a state of compromise, you're guilty, and two, dog, you're a broken man. Your hip broke. You don't have no strength to do anything.
No, but-
dog, you can't even walk. You're limping.
You're more whole than you was before.
Exactly.
You're Israel now.
Yeah.
I'm talking about as far as thinking in the mind of any to do anything.
You're Israel
Still
now.
don't
You
matter.
wrestled with God.
Yeah,
But that's
but
the lesson that we're supposed to get in all of this, right? So
Right.
now we're seeing, fam, the scripture is calling you Jacob. It's not calling you Israel. Because
Why
you're
is it-
moving like Jacob.
He's moving like Jacob. Why? Because he's in a state of compromise.
Exactly.
So if he's in a state of compromise, like this is why I do agree with what Mike is saying in terms of like because of this being in the compromised state, now I'm not responding the way I should respond.
No, that's
You
not
know
an
what?
excuse.
No,
That's
no,
not-
no.
I don't think that's an
we
excuse.
agree. We agree. It's not an excuse.
It's
but,
not. I never
but that's
said
the
it
same.
was.
But that's the same thing that
So
happened
you're
with David.
saying because he's in a compromised position, he's like,
Yo,
I
He
can't
don't love
do
his
nothing,
daughter.
Yo, dog.
and I don't. I'm not even gonna get an emotion.
It didn't say he didn't have it. It says he held his peace until
That's
his son
because
came.
he didn't have. Listen, you're seeing the contrast between Jacob and his sons. That's what the scriptures is showing you.
Yes,
and
agreed.
it's showing you that the sons, their emotion was destructive.
Okay.
And
All right. Hold on.
Jacob's emotion
Okay.
was absent.
Okay. Hold on.
No,
wait,
it
wait,
wasn't.
wait.
I don't think it was absent.
David and Tamar and Amnon and Absalom. What did David do?
He was the same way. He was passive.
Why?
I don't remember.
The same thing. He was compromised.
It's compromised, bro.
But what
He
does
slept
that
with
have to
Bathsheba.
do
No, but
with
no, you see
emotion?
it. No. The
Dog.
thing is, okay. The thing is that when a person is in a state of compromise, they're living in this guilt.
I agree with
and,
you.
And you know what I'm saying. And they don't. Okay.
I mean-
for example, right? I'm gonna give you an example, a real life example. When I was doing my internship, I was working with another physician, and she was a born again Christian, right? And the entire time, like I never knew she was saved, right? And I got saved afterwards, and I spoke to her, and I said, "Yo, I'm saved or whatever." And she's like, "Yo, I've been saved." I was like, "How come you never shared the gospel with me?" Oh, because I was in a backslidden state, and I did not feel comfortable sharing the gospel with anyone because I was sleeping around. But I'm just saying that
I
as
get
an
that,
example.
But
you know what I'm
that's
saying?
completely
Listen, guys.
different than
Right,
this.
right.
If,
Guys,
if
see,
you
I'm agreeing with Ange.
if you were in a backslidden
Ange.
state,
Let's
yo,
go. Let's
yo,
Ebony and Ivory,
yo,
baby. Let's go.
If you were in a
Ebony
backslidden state,
and Ivory.
yo, bro, If you were in a backslidden state,
Right.
and somebody knocked on your door, the police knocked on your door and said somebody
talking
just
about-
harmed your
Yeah, B.
daughter.
Right.
I don't care how much
it's all right.
fornication
We're talking
or
about
adultery
rape.
Why you think I
you
said
are
all right,
committing.
bro?
Nah,
You
you're
are gonna
right.
be
You're right.
yo. You are gonna want to kill somebody.
yo, Ralph, just
No,
believe this.
that's what we're
That's
talking
the
about.
we're talking about his
rape.
character right
Okay,
here. We're
right,
not
right,
talking
right.
about him being in whatever state spiritually. This is as a human being. If somebody gives you this news, you should be angry. He was there like, all right, let me wait for my sons to stop with this messing with the sheep, and then we'll talk about it. No,
All right,
bro.
so these guys
see, yeah,
came,
that's
right?
wrong.
So now these guys came, right? All right, yo, let's make a deal. Obviously, the father is being led by the son, right? And this
Yeah.
is all based on lust,
Yeah.
right? So let's get together. Yo, my son loves your daughter. Yo, let her.
His pops is like, thinking about this whole thing, and he's like, man, only give me the young woman to be my wife. Like, that's all the son cares about.
He's similar to Jacob when he saw Rachel and he was blinded by these emotions. We're seeing the same thing with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yo, I don't care. I just want her. He's blinded by his emotions now, right? And they're also saying, yo, let's become one, right? Obviously, once you marry, what you're saying is let's our families become one, right? And obviously, we're dealing with Canaan. We know what Canaan represents, the world, and we're dealing with the children of Israel. So if you're looking on the spiritual side, you're seeing the corruption of the seed potentially,
Right.
trying to corrupt the seed. Let's get into this family. We marry your daughters, you marry our daughters, and let's get together. Nah, fam. No.
Right.
God was like, nah, it's not going to work like that. That's not going to happen. So when you're looking at the background, you're still seeing Satan,
the seed, right?
That's right.
Satan trying to set things up
To
in
prevent
order to prevent
Jesus.
from coming by corrupting this line and destroying this family. So we see that. So what we read up to?
12. So we're at 13 now.
So Shechem, right? All right. So yeah, go ahead. Let's go 13 to 24.
Yeah, that's good.
But the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor his father and spoke deceitfully, because he had defiled Dinah their sister. And they said to them, we cannot do this thing to give our sister to one who is uncircumcised, for that would be a reproach to us. But on this condition we will consent to you. If you will become as we are, if every male of you is circumcised, then we will give our daughters to you, and we will take your daughters to us, and we will dwell with you, and we will become one people. But if you will not heed us and be circumcised, then we will take our daughter and be gone. And their words pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son. So the young man did not delay to do the thing, because he delighted in Jacob's daughter. He was more honorable than all the household of his father. And Hamor and Shechem, his son, came to the gate of their city and spoke with the men of their city, saying, these men are at peace with us. Therefore let them dwell in the land and trade in it. For indeed the land is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters to us as wives, and let us give them our daughters. Only on this condition will the men consent to dwell with us, to be one people, if every male among us is circumcised as they are circumcised. Will not their livestock, their property, and every animal of theirs be ours? Only let us consent to them, and they will dwell with us. And all who went out of the gate of his city heeded Hamor and Shechem his son. Every male was circumcised, all who went out of the gate of his city.
Mm-hmm. So now her brothers come up with a deception.
I see wisdom.
A deceitful plan.
Wow. Wisdom.
All right.
Yeah, it says they because
What's the condition?
You read earlier that they were pissed off, and so now they're looking at it like we're gonna take vengeance in our own hands. But they come up, you're seeing traits of their pops, like okay, they tricksters, they deceive, they looking at the people, they like all right, we're gonna deceive.
What? You see traits of their pops?
Traits of their pops, yeah, because their pops used to be a deceiver. Yeah, Jacob used to be a deceiver. Jacob wasn't a trickster.
Right, you don't think so?
You
I
don't
mean,
think
I
so?
see those characteristics. I could see how they were.
Wait, Tom. Hey, man, listen. Tell me, yes, you don't believe Jacob used to be a trickster? Or he was a deceiver?
No. That's not what I'm saying.
What?
Okay.
I'm not gonna attach every deceitful plan.
Oh, okay.
No,
and be
I'm
like,
not.
oh, it's because of your pops.
No, I'm not
right,
saying
right,
it
right.
because
DNA
of the.
inside
I'm
you.
not saying, but dog,
Because I'm reading a cause and effect.
right? But that's what I'm saying. Again, dog, we know that sin. You know how sin works. You understand what I'm saying? So the same way how Isaac did the same thing Abraham did when Abraham lied, bruh, we know how sin works. So I'm looking at it like, yo, these are your sons. Dog, they came up with this plot. They came up with this plan to deceive these people because deep down inside they wanted revenge. But the way I'm looking at it is like they used circumcision.
They use religion.
You know, they used religion. They used something that was holy and precious, something of God's. You know, like it's
covenantal
not. Yeah, it's like they prostituted the covenant of God, and this was supposed to be a covenant that God gave them to separate them from the rest of the world. You know, this was something that God gave them so that they could be sanctified and that they could stand out there, so that they could be holy, and they prostituted it just to get revenge. You know, and that's what I said.
So the plan is, all right, listen, sounds like a deal, but here's one condition. Every able-bodied man has to get circumcised, all right? You about to say something?
Now I was just gonna say, how did they come up with this plan so quickly?
Because they just like they pops.
Because that is quick-witted. I mean, it's like
No, I don't know if it was the same day. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, even though
they probably came, petitioned.
days.
All right, we'll come back. All right, it's like, yo, you know what?
And probably worked it. Right.
Pops is just there. Like, yo, Pops, what up? What we got?
He's like, oh, I'm in a backsliding state.
Chill
I don't
out.
have
That's
anything
it.
to say.
Yo, chill out.
Y'all make the decision.
Pops
I'm in a backsliding
Pops
state.
is like, yo, fam.
So
I knew we shouldn't even be here.
Y'all bugging, son.
So listen. So now, what's gonna have to happen is, Hamor and Shechem gotta get everybody on board. How you gonna go to all the people, all the able-bodied men, and be like, yo, you're gonna have to cut your shmeat. You gotta have to cut the skin off your shmeat, cause my son is lusting after this woman. That's all it's about.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Yeah,
So how does he sell it though?
Oh yeah, financial.
He
gain.
sell it, right?
Yeah.
So now they're at the gate of the city. So now you're getting into the political forum, right?
Right.
So now you're seeing them campaign for something that they're presenting to the people that's good. Listen, all of you guys gonna benefit from this.
Right.
You could get land. They got women. Yo, these guys, they're good people. We're gonna be one. They got cattle. You're gonna be the winners in this.
Wow. That's crazy.
But really, what this is all is about is when you go back to verse 4. Get me this young woman from the son.
Wow.
Right? So now you're seeing, obviously we're seeing the effects of sin, but that's what it is. So they go, they campaign, everybody's on board.
Crazy.
Right?
Dang.
These guys, I don't know if they
let's
were
vote on it.
If they were influential, maybe they were powerful, maybe they
Yeah,
were the
yeah,
leaders.
Pops was the
the
boss.
yeah,
They were the leaders, right?
Because he was a prince, right? Because the name of the area was Shechem.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
So-
his dad was the king of that.
So yeah, they're the rulers, and so they have to convince the whole rest of the people. Like, no, that's a great point. Like they had to politically campaign.
Yeah, that's
because
why. That's
of
why.
my son.
Yeah,
That's
who's
all it was
lusting
about.
after a shorty.
That's all it was about.
yeah.
So now all you guys gonna have to go through this.
So the crazy
And
thing
they
is, on the flip Canaanite side, the pop and the son, they're in one accord.
Yeah.
But on Israel, you know, the chosen family side, you see the pops and the sons, they're
divided.
Yeah,
divided, right? You have one passive, and you have one that took things to the dark side. So we should finish. Let's finish it. Rob, you got to give a medical breakdown of the shmeat. The shmeat.
Nah. We don't need a medical.
No. Something is particular about the third day. It says the
Right.
third day. So maybe I don't know if you have some insight on that.
I mean,
but-
that's healing, right? That would be basic healing.
The interesting thing I did want to bring out was when he said he was more honorable than all the household
I read that
of
and I
his
chuckled.
father,
who's that?
Shechem. He
The
said
son.
he was more the
rapist.
The rapist was more honorable
Yeah.
than anyone. So could you imagine the state of everyone else if this was
Exactly.
acceptable?
That's
if
the
this was normal? So
Right.
the standard.
So you're seeing Shechem was the high standard in that
Right.
in that community, in that culture, which is sad.
And you know what? The thing is that when you don't have God present and you don't have him as the moral objective ruler now, it's always man's standard. And man's standard is always lower than God, and it's always depraved.
And it's always shifting.
Right.
It changes.
Constantly, right.
Every 3 years it'll change to something else. But let's finish the chapter.
Now it came to pass. Hold on, let me shut this off. Now it came to pass on the third day, when they were in pain, that two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, each took his sword and came boldly upon the city and killed all the males. And they killed Hamor and Shechem, his son, with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah from Shechem's house and went out. The sons of Jacob came upon the slain and plundered the city, because their sister had been defiled. They took their sheep, their oxen, and their donkeys, what was in the city and what was in the field, and all their wealth. All their little ones and their wives they took captive, and they plundered even all that was in the houses. Then Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, "You have troubled me by making me obnoxious among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites. And since I am few in number, they will gather themselves together against me and kill me. I shall be destroyed, my household and I." But they said, "Should he treat our sister like a harlot?" That's what I'm talking about right there.
Doug, this is mass murder.
Crazy.
Don't be so hard. Don't be so hard on him.
No, don't worry about it. You agreed with this guy. Don't keep going, dog.
Don't be so hard.
This is premeditated.
Straight up.
Massacre.
Word up.
These guys, they came in with the swords. It don't matter. You could take one thing away, I'm gonna find something else. Sword, rock. Listen, when you're dealing with sin, you're not gonna stop sin or evil. So they go in, everybody's incapacitated, because obviously you're dealing with circumcision. You probably had infection.
Right.
These cats is running a fever because your body has to heal. Right. And obviously there wasn't the technology and advancement in medicine to know how to deal with these things the way we do now, right? Some probably did, but imagine all the men.
Right.
Yeah, I just think they're in a state just feeble.
Damn, you can't move.
They feeble, B.
If you're a warrior, you can't really fight. You're at a disadvantage.
Right. Usually, like, and it's very interesting that it said within the third day, because I'm thinking about, like, especially in these ancient times, because I mean, modern day, usually in 2 to 3 days, that's usually when the anesthetic wears off. So I'm wondering if there was some form of medical knowledge, but the whole thing is usually within the 2 to 3rd day, anesthesia is worn off now, and now the pain sets in, because any type of surgical procedure is contained trauma. It is trauma, but it's contained, right? And then now anesthesia wears off, and the pain starts setting in, inflammation starts setting even more, and then, like you guys said, infection, fever, and then abscess, and especially
Crazy.
So who's the main culprits?
Simeon and Levi.
Simeon and Levi. They're the two main culprits that dealt with the killing. So they killed all the males, all the men, right? They killed Hamor and his son, right? And they took back their daughter.
And they plundered the city.
Not only that, then the sons of Jacob came.
The rest of them.
Upon the slain.
Listen,
we're reading about the family of that Jesus Christ came through.
The 12 tribes?
The chosen, yeah. We're talking about the chosen people.
Yeah, this is the 12 tribes of Israel, dog.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right? So now,
show some respect.
So now the rest of them came, they plundered the city, right? And it says because of what happened to their sister. So they took sheep, oxen, donkeys. They took the women
and the kids
and the children.
You kidnap our sister. Now we're gonna take all your women, which was a no. Right.
And they
don't mess with these women
and the kids.
And they took the kids.
And you know what's a very interesting thing, and this is why God said, "The vengeance is mine." He says, "The vengeance is the Lord," because when man gets involved, it's never fair. It's never equal. For example, like and we see this. You mentioned Saddam Hussein. Then oh my goodness, he's a terrorist and all that, and then you condemn a whole nation of people, right? So now it was Shechem and Hamor right, that was involved in this, right? Yeah. And he goes and destroys every single man. I mean, some of the men, they could have just were visiting the area. Right. They could have been visiting friends, family. They had wives, they had children, they had lives. They probably had no idea what was going on, and they got slaughtered.
None of them had an idea what was going on.
Yeah, and rage because of this.
Rage, yep.
You know, and we see this currently. A police officer does something, and now the
whole department
is all condemned. And then you seeing mass riots, stores getting looted. You see all
everybody
these
get
things.
it.
Everybody is being
everybody pick up two
for one bad cop. Though.
Because of one bad cop.
Nah, all the
you
time.
seen the whole city, state,
burn it down,
country on fire.
What up?
This is why God says, "Vengeance is the Lord's."
That's a power that you can't yield
and you can't control.
You can't control.
Yeah.
You know why? Because you're sinful.
Yeah.
You're sinful.
And you see,
and you can't be just and you can't be fair.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So now we see. So now let's scale it all the way back, right? All the way back. Jacob, you wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. You're out of the will of God, right? Mm-hmm. And the environment you're in is gonna affect your family. Yeah. That's why it's important for men to be spiritual leaders in their homes and to lead their family. And then because of that, your daughter ended up without any chaperone, right? Without she got what, 11 brothers?
Yeah.
Dog, how's she making moves dolly with nobody with her? Nobody to protect her, nobody to guard her, nobody to watch her. She's a young woman. Right? Let's say she wanted to go out there. Nothing wrong with going out there, but go out there with protection. She went out there without protection. Yeah. And this thing happened to her, right? So now, this thing keeps going, and it leads to, Simeon and Levi committing premeditated
mass murder.
That's what we're seeing.
Yeah.
That's
genocide.
What the scriptures is straight genocide.
Genocide.
This town of people, they just wiped them all out. You killed all the men.
Yeah.
So there's no continuing, right? This whatever section, there was town. I don't think it was a developed city yet, but it was a community of people, and they killed them. And this is Simeon and Levi.
Yeah, and that's all due to just pride and, ego, reputation, because they say it in verse 14. It says, they said to them, we cannot do this thing to give our sister to one who is uncircumcised, for that would be a disgrace to us. That's what they were worried about. They were worried about themselves. They was worried about, like, look what they did to us. Their pride is hurt.
That national pride.
That national pride. We're the nation of Israel. We're God's chosen. We're this, we're that. And look what they did to one of ours. Right. And that's why they was like uncircumcised. Like they understood all of that. Right. They was like, yo, these guys are uncircumcised and they're going to be with our sister. Nah, that's going to bring a disgrace to us. So they were just worried about, how they were perceived and how they look to everyone else, to everybody who probably was just around them. And
I think yesterday we were talking about how national pride could become a religion.
That's it.
Yeah. And then an idol, and you're doing things because of national pride. Wait, what do you think, Ange?
You think that was the main reason why they did this, and not the fact that they were angry that their sister was raped?
Yeah. I mean, their sister was raped, but you got to understand.
No. But so you're saying that their national pride was the main reason why
that played a part into all of it. Their sister being raped, it's like
that was the main thing,
right? It's like okay, so let's say, okay, you're Puerto Rican and your sister is raped by another nationality. To you, you're gonna come and you're gonna be like, you gotta understand the way they looked at those people in Shechem. They were lower than them. That's why they said these people uncircumcised. They look at them like these people are defiled. They're lower than us.
You're flaming it.
Yeah.
You flame. When you flame something.
What if she was raped by someone who was circumcised? Then it would have been all right?
No, I'm not saying it would have been all right. I'm just saying that played a part into it also.
I see that, but I mean, could be.
Yeah, they say it. It's in the scripture.
No, but it also says deceitfully, meaning that they were telling them something in order to get them to do something so that they could take revenge.
No, they said,
you know what I mean?
No, but that was among. That's what I'm saying.
They were talking amongst
They
themselves.
was talking among themselves. They deceitfully said that to them, like, yeah, we good, just circumcise yourselves. But
it's like, you ever seen a situation where something happened and then people just start talking? Yeah. Yo, how could they do this? How could they don't know who I am?
Right.
La 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 la. So
no, I get that.
The initial thing was the rape.
Right.
All right, I just want to make sure that we know that I feel like it was.
But listen,
the fact that they cared that their daughter,
they're saying,
sister was raped.
What they're saying is things to try to justify what they're about to do.
That's it.
So they're saying because they're the uncircumcised,
right.
because we're this, because we're that. You know what? We're gonna go and kill you.
Yeah.
That's not reason.
That's not reason.
You understand what I'm saying?
But they got
so they're building it up.
Right.
They're building it up and saying all these things to try to make yourself feel better for this atrocity that you're about to commit. That's how I read it.
Yeah.
Like saying, yo, you're the uncircumcised, or you're this, we're this. How could it's shame to us?
I think that was all because you said they were speaking amongst themselves.
They wouldn't say that to Shechem.
I mean, verse 13, doesn't it say that they answered Shechem and Hamor, his father, and spoke deceitfully? Right, and then it says,
right. They said that
we cannot do this thing to give our
Shechem.
sister to
No,
one. They weren't speaking to themselves, right?
But they did say that to Shechem. But that's what I'm saying. You got
what I'm saying. I get what you're saying, and I see that that's probably a valid point. But what I'm saying is, they said this. They were speaking to them deceitfully. They had a plan in mind to get them to a weakened state where they can come and murder them. So this is what their plan was. So I think their primary goal was to get revenge on these people who had raped their daughter. How they came about this plan, I don't know. But I don't think that their national pride, these specific brothers, I don't think it was their national pride that was threatened. You know what I mean? I think it was more so my sister was raped and defiled and violated, and I'm going to take revenge. I don't see it as...
All right.
So how do you think they justified, like, the mass murder, the taking of the women?
Nobody said nothing about
children?
justify. They justified it because they were angry. That they thought they could do that. It was wrong. Don't get me wrong. It was excessive what they did.
Right.
But what do you guys think they should have did? Just kill Shechem and Hamor, or should they not have done anything? Like, what do you think they should have done?
What was the law of the land when it came to rape?
What was it?
I don't know.
Well, that's
but
why.
That
the
doesn't
crime,
obviously count towards the Canaanites because they weren't under that law.
The what do you doesn't fit the punishment doesn't fit the crime.
That's
The
what
punishment for everybody, all the other men, doesn't fit the crime.
Right.
The guy who raped him and his dad, they were culprits. They needed
I
some
don't
sort
even,
of punishment.
I don't even know if I put it on the dad.
I put it on the
dad.
pops because the pops didn't come. He didn't apologize. He didn't say, "How can I make this right?" He didn't say, let me take care of my son now."
So
No, he
saying
was
the
in
pops,
on it.
the pops was part of it. The pops.
No, he wasn't the reason.
What was
why.
the crime? The crime was rape. Okay, who did the rape in Shechem?
Yeah, exactly.
It should have been Shechem.
Just Shechem.
Yes.
All right. So what? I mean, listen.
I mean, if you think about it, where it does make sense in terms of the national pride, like you see, like what we went through in terms of like the riots and things of that nature, and the attack on police department and all these other things that happen, right? And the looting and all these things. When people speak, when the streets are speaking, you hear it's like, oh, we've been enslaved, we've been robbed, our things have been taken, we've been abused.
That's always
and you know what I'm saying?
Always something that's
and
used.
that was their justification of like what has been done to our people because of slavery. That's why I should go into the stores and rob it because it belongs to me, to my people, because we were stolen out of the land. Right. So I have the right to steal their stuff out of their store. So that is a form of national pride, right? I mean, just them reacting that way. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
And that's why they even brought it. Like, I agree with you. They brought it to them, but you gotta understand that was the mind frame. The mind frame is like, yo, dog, we're circumcised, you're uncircumcised. You guys are beneath us. You gotta understand. That's how, and I think that's what fueled them going so hard.
And what is that?
What?
Pride.
It's pride.
That's all it is.
That's all I'm saying.
And that's
it's
all
pride.
the source. Let's go back to the first.
Yeah, we don't even have to put the word national on it.
Just pride.
It's just pride. It's the
and
pride.
that's why I said, why would you even say one who is uncircumcised?
Right.
You know, because you're seeing that, you know, like you're seeing that division, like
Separation.
we're separate from y'all. Y'all not supposed to be mingling with our women. So it's like, and you had the nerve to go and rape our sister? Dog, you uncircumcised. It's the same way how David, when he came to Goliath, and Goliath was walking around boasting, and he was like, yo, dog, who is this uncircumcised Philistine coming against the army of the Lord? That was his mind frame. You understand what I'm saying? It's not to, he was right in that sense because, you know, he was a man of God. But what I'm trying to show you is that they understood that. That was something national. You understand? You guys are uncircumcised. We're circumcised. And they use that deceitfully. But I think, you know, personally, it fueled that. Like, uncircumcised.
Yeah. So what were they, right? When you're looking at the family, what were they supposed to be to their neighbors?
A light, an example.
Right? I understand. This crazy thing happened. Shechem shouldn't have gotten dealt with. Right? His pops... I don't know if I would put it on his pops. His pops, you became a cold D because you tried to fix the situation. Yep. But at least you and your son was one. I wish Jacob and his sons were one. So Jacob could have been like, yo, I understand. I'm also outraged, but calm down. This is how we're going to handle it.
If Jacob would have been outraged and came up with a plan right there, then this probably wouldn't have happened.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. The people... Right? Because we know how we know the ultimate plan on the Lord. And we saw an example how Abraham dealt with his neighbors. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We didn't get too much about Isaac. Right. But
now we did with Isaac. Isaac dealt properly when he was time to bury, I think, Rebecca. Right. And then they tried to scam him. Yeah. Even when they was stuffing up the wells. Yeah. We seen how Isaac dealt with. There was parts where Isaac could have flipped out. Yeah. And Isaac just kept it moving.
And the crime has to get dealt with, right? There has to be justice. Right? If you do a crime, you got to pay. But obviously, we see that the punishment don't justify. Yeah. And you guys are supposed to be the representation, right? A nation of kings and priests of the Most High, so that when the Canaanites saw you, they're not supposed to want to get circumcised by deception. Right. They're supposed to want to get circumcised because I want to follow your God, right? So they were supposed to be that light for the people to bring the people towards God because that was the ultimate plan. So you got something, Ralph?
No, I was just thinking because like I think the actual law for this is that if a woman does get raped, then the man, if he they have to be brought in and like now you have to marry her
and you got to pay a crazy amount
of dowry, right?
And you can't ever divorce her.
You can't ever divorce her. Yeah. And if you don't want to marry her, then you're put to death. Yeah. So that's the actual, punishment for this crime.
So he was in God's will.
Shechem.
I don't.
He was following
that was
God's
before.
law.
That was before
the law was written. But this whole straight murdering was just way over.
No, I'm talking about the way Shechem dealt with it. Like, okay,
listen, a lot of the laws of Israel was based around it was kind of like a higher moral standard than the laws that was already around from these pagan nations.
Right.
So it wasn't anything far-fetched.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was just a step above. Like when you go through the scriptures, the moral law is always taking a step above.
Right.
It's always taking a step until you reach Christ when he was like, nah, I told you this, but it's actually really this. Yeah. Right? So it's not like, I think we had that argument before. These pagan nations, they had their system set up. Right. They had laws.
They had Hammurabi code.
Hammurabi code. But their law was down here.
Right.
And then the nation of Israel came like, oh no, we do things a little different. We're up here. Right. And then you can even look at modern times. Right. If you look at the standards back in the 60s, 70s, we have a different standard now. Morality was always progressing with the revelation of Jesus Christ and people growing in that grace.
So do you guys think Jacob had no reaction at all? So when it says he held his peace, do you think when his sons came, there was probably, all right, yeah, I'm upset and all of that, but his sons was just on some straight, yo, we wild out. We don't want to even hear you, pops. We're enraged. Because the way I'm reading it, it says his sons were enraged, right? It says his sons were enraged. It says he held his peace until they came. And, when it says the sons of Jacob had come in from the field as soon as they heard of it, and the men were indignant and very angry. And it's like, your sons come in, you tell your sons what happened. and your sons just flip out. There's no compromising with them. There's no talking to them. They just like, nah, dog. We they young, they fiery, they're out here. And then they go out and then they go do this without Jacob. And then Jacob understanding that, fam, I wasn't even supposed to. I wasn't compromised. Look where I brought my family. I brought them near the city of these Canaanites. My daughter's gone. Like he there's a level of guilt and there's a level of guilt there because he understands that he wasn't in God's will. Yeah, I don't see that.
The message that the scriptures is telling me is that Jacob was passive.
Okay.
And you know,
I do agree that he was passive. But I'm saying why. That's what I'm saying. Why?
He says it. He says it.
Why?
Right here, he was like, "Your dog. I don't want no trouble."
Exactly.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He
like,
don't want no.
Numbers are few. They're gonna kill me now.
Right, but that's what I'm saying because he understand that he was not supposed to be there. That he was in compromise.
No, I don't.
I'm not saying
that
that
the family. I'm just real quick. That the family was in compromise. They were in a compromised situation. He probably is looking at his kids. You seeing your daughter. She wants to be a city girl. Your sons are a bunch of hotheads.
No.
They're picking up stuff from the culture. Y'all don't see none of that. Okay,
no. I see that.
I just want to make sense.
I see that. I don't see that as the reason why he didn't react when his daughter.
He should have still reacted.
He should have reacted as a dad.
It said he held his peace until his sons came. What does that mean to you?
What that means that when somebody told me my daughter was raped, that means that for 3 hours I'm sitting in the sofa waiting for my kids to come home, and I'm not reacting, and I'm not angry. That's what that means.
Okay.
He held his peace.
The message.
So somebody tells me my daughter is raped, I'm flipping tables and I'm trying to kill somebody.
That's you. I get it.
That should be everybody.
Just listen. Just what I'm trying to tell you again. So you're telling me when the sons came in, his peace was still the same.
What? Oh look! It
doesn't. Did he lose his peace?
Wait, hold on.
Did he?
Listen, it says he held his peace until his son came.
What
does that mean?
Listen. Let's say Jacob got upset and flipped the table. You still didn't do nothing.
Exactly.
That's the message.
That's why his kids had to do it.
In the situation, regardless of your emotions inside, in the situation, you did zero.
Okay.
So that's the passivity of it. We're seeing the emotions of the sons turn into action that was evil.
So why do you think that was? That wasn't because he was in compromise.
He says it right here. Yo, dog, don't bring trouble to my door.
Exactly.
Leave me. I don't want no problems for these people.
He didn't want the smoke.
And it got you in a place where you were so passive, right, that you did absolutely nothing when this craziness happened.
So why was he passive?
You don't think he was in compromise? You don't think the whole family was in compromise at that time?
My God.
Okay, being close to Shechem?
Was he okay?
Circle, bro.
Was Jacob in rebellion or not?
He was out the will of the Lord, yeah.
So it's rebellion.
So that means, listen.
Is
that rebellion or not?
You call that rebellion?
Wait, hold on.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question.
The same thing with Lot.
You see, because they saying he was out of the world and it's not rebellion, because that's the same thing, right? Because like for example, if I'm saying I'm 90% faithful to my wife, is that faithful?
No,
I only sleep with one other girl.
That's not it.
Once a week. Because this is what he did not follow the will of God. Right. He was in complete disobedience.
Right.
He was compromised.
Okay.
You can't serve the Lord 90% of the time.
Let me ask you a question.
It's 100% of the time.
So you're basically saying because he was compromised, that's the reason he didn't do anything?
Yeah. And I'm saying that the only reason I'm saying that is the same thing. Listen.
We need to kick these two
real
dudes
quick,
off
the
the
only
show,
reason I'm saying that
they gotta go.
Just listen. The only reason I'm saying that just listen.
So were the sons compromised?
Yes.
But why did they react the way they did? Why did the sons react the way they did?
Wicked murderers.
Oh, no, they were the 12 tribes of Judah, bro. Be careful who you're talking about.
12
tribes of Israel.
Now let me ask you a question.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's exactly why they acted the way they acted.
Let me ask you a question.
It went through rage.
What did Jacob say to his
son? He said he don't want no problems.
He said
He gave the reason why.
Listen, this guy never said anything about his daughter.
No.
Why? And that's what I'm saying. Why?
He said, "You have troubled me by making me obnoxious." Are you listening to what Jacob is saying?
I agree.
So you're saying everything that he's saying is because he was compromised?
Yes.
So you're compromised. You can't react?
Yeah, he was in a compromised state, dog. He was, and I'm gonna show you real quick.
Close it
up. Somebody close it because these dudes is crazy right now.
The only reason I'm saying that is
because they compromised.
Lot, because I'm gonna show you something.
Because they not reacting right.
Lot was the same way. When the men came to his door, he was on some, yo, let me appease you guys. Yo, here's my daughter. Lot went. Listen, he was ready. He was ready to give his daughters up to appease the people at his door. Why?
Why?
Because Lot was in compromise.
Where was
being-
Lot?
to
hold-
protect the
hold on.
angels,
Wait,
the men
answer.
of God.
Wait, why?
Okay,
Why did
wait.
Lot react that way?
Where was Lot supposed to be? Did Lot get specific instructions of where he was supposed to be?
No.
So let's not compare it.
No,
Okay,
wait.
No
Hold
problem.
on.
Yeah, no
Was he
problem.
supposed to be in Sodom?
But God didn't tell him where to go.
Where was he supposed to be?
Hold on. We do
Why
not
not?
know.
Why not?
We do not know.
Why not?
But was he supposed to be in Sodom?
Maybe.
Now I'm done.
Okay.
Let's pray now.
Maybe the Lord needed him to
No,
be
no,
a
no,
light
no,
inside
no.
us.
No,
Continue,
now we got to deal with it. We got another 10 minutes.
Nah, we ain't praying
Why?
now.
Why?
Where was he supposed to be?
He was supposed to be in the will of the Lord.
What was that?
Where did God tell him
In
to
the
go?
will of the Lord.
What
did
was
God-
that?
Wait.
What was...
I was in Vegas the other day.
Listen, we know for Jacob, because it's very specific.
Yes.
Right.
Listen, Lot, we understand. We understand. We didn't know the will for Lot. We knew for Abraham. We didn't know for Lot.
Right.
Lot,
We
maybe
didn't
you
know.
were supposed to be there to be an
light.
evangelist.
Okay.
You was just a bad light. That's what I'm saying. We don't know. So it's hard to compare apples to apples in these situations because it's not. For Jacob, I was like, yo, Jacob, you were supposed to be back in Bethel.
Right.
And not only that, you said you was going back.
Right.
So then I could attribute that and hold them accountable for that. I can't do that for Lot.
Okay,
Because
so-
I don't know.
So that means Jacob was compromised.
Even if he
For
was
the fifth time,
compromised.
yes. But
Okay.
even though he was compromised, his reaction was
Why?
passive.
And he tells
you
us
guys,
why.
You guys
He
are
tells us
saying,
why.
you guys are saying
Yeah, y'all
because he was
screaming, y'all
passive,
screaming,
then he
nigga.
couldn't react.
Y'all
That's what you
screaming.
guys are saying?
No.
Just screaming, man.
You're saying because he was compromised, he can't react.
Yeah, that's
or he
what
had
they
no
say.
emotion, or he was supposed to be passive, or he's telling these guys like, "Yo, guys, you guys are causing trouble for me over here." That's what you guys saying? Because he's compromised?
No, we're saying because he is compromised, this is the reason why he reacts so poorly.
Yes. That's it.
Okay.
I mean, he didn't react.
Okay.
at
Okay.
all.
I agree.
Or did not react at
but
all.
then
Okay, I agree.
So
you
so
guys,
then
I
you
agree.
just-
No, I agree now.
So then you overlook the part where he tells why he didn't do it, right?
Yeah, we know why he didn't do it.
Because he was scared of
Yeah, he was
being
off.
obnoxious. He was
because he
scared
was off.
of
All of that-
he was scared of dying.
He was never supposed to be in Shechem.
Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you so much for this episode, and I just pray that you reveal yourself to the Mike and Ralph tonight, and let them know the truth. And we love you, and thank you for everything you do for us. Amen.
Amen.
Listen, it could go both ways.